Okay, I hope you can all hear me. We're going to start off just very quickly with what we're going to cover today. I hope you can see the screen. Okay, so what we're going to cover today, initially, what were the initial requirements for Impact CMS, just to give you a little bit of background as to how it all came around, how it actually works, just a brief overview, a sample client site with some editable areas, and how to add editable content to client sites. And then we'll take any questions or answer any questions that you've already posted. So the initial requirements of Impact CMS: it must be customizable in Web+, it must run on the manager's own server, it must be able to handle multiple client sites, it must work across domain, it must work on client sites on Web+ hosting, it must not need HTML or programming skills, it must not lose client edits on new publish of the WPP, it must be able to manage X6, 7 and 8 client sites in a single control panel, it must be secure, must look professional, and must be able to edit pages live in situ. Now, all of these things presented their own challenges to start with, and then when you combine that with Web+ and the way that it works, you can imagine the challenges were much, much greater. However, all of the requirements were met. So how does that actually work? This is just a very brief cut down view. The Impact CMS server sits in one location and the client site sits on a server in another location. When a visitor visits the CMS, the site that's got the CMS on, it first of all checks to see if the visitor is logged in. If the visitor is, then it shows the editing control and adds various classes and additional code to the page. If the code is the content of the editable areas has changed since the original content, then it will go back to the server and replace the content with the edited content. Otherwise, it will show the original content. So now what happens if your visitor comes along and they are not logged in other words, a normal visitor? So they won't show, the client site will not show the editing control panel. If the content has changed since the original, once again, it will replace it with the new content. And then if your client comes along and wants to edit his pages, he's logged in. So the same thing happens. Is he logged in? Show the control panel. Has the content changed? If it has, then update it. Then switch on the edit button. The client will then click on, so the editable areas are then highlighted. He can then edit the content, getting various tools from the original host site. Every time an action has taken place, the system checks that he is still logged in and he's still from the same IP address to maintain the security. So it saves the changes and then sends the changes back to the client's site to display. And the editable elements that you can edit with the Impact CMS are text areas, images, lightboxes, mixed content areas, image sliders, YouTube videos, Vimeo videos, news panels, events panels, mini shop panels, PDF catalogs and documents, and photo book photo galleries. Some require the edit control and some do not, such as the news panels. And in the basic version, as you can see, you get text areas, images, mixed content, sliders, and YouTube videos. And in Pro and Pro Plus, you get all the other features except the photo book galleries, which are only in Pro Plus. Okay, so now let's have a look at a demo client site. Here's one I prepared earlier. I hope you're all still able to hear me. I say this is the first time I've done anything like this, so it's all a little bit new to me. And anyway, here we go. So this is a demo site. As you can see on this site, we've added a login panel. On this particular page, we've got an editable text area, and we've got a slider. Now, if we log in as the client, the login panels can be put on any of your clients' pages or any of your own site pages. In fact, anywhere you like. They will then be able to log in to edit their site, and you can have any number of login panels, and they can be all different shapes, sizes, colors, and whatever, and you just choose which one to put on each site, so they can be fully customized for your own client site. So we're going to edit the pages on site. Here we go. So now we're logged in, and shortly after we're logged in, it's checked that we're logged in, and so the editing control has appeared at the top of the screen. So we will click edit on, and as now you see, we get dotted lines around the areas that can be edited. On a text panel, the client can either edit directly within the text area, and then just click save. They will then get a message to say that the data has saved successfully. They also can edit it within the full editor. This goes off now to the main your main control panel and retrieves all the editor and the size of the font and so on. So we'll just put that back to Molly. In this particular instance, we've added a Google font to the page. So now we click save, and we've saved the data. Within that, they can also add hyperlinks, which we will show you here. So if we wanted a hyperlink there to another page, they can add a hyperlink. Okay, and save. And now you see we've got a hyperlink. While we're in editing mode, the hyperlinks, etc., won't work until we come out of editing mode. So if we switch off editing, you'll now see the hyperlinks there, and it will open in a new page. Okay, so now let's just go back. Okay, so that's the text area. There are other options that they can use in the text area. You can add things such as, when it comes up, you can change the position of the text, the left to right, the color of the text or the background, insert special characters, and so on. If you set the page to be able to view the source, you can also see the source code for that particular element as well. but I don't recommend that. I would recommend for your clients that you disable the source, which we'll show you how to later. Okay, so let's come out of that. Now we have the image only slider. Again, that can be edited, so we can edit the pictures in there. So we just wait till the picture that we want is showing, click edit. There's the image, double click the image. And we can now choose a new image. So the image must be the same size as the original image. So send it to server. The image, so we want that 718. Okay, save. Okay, so now that picture has been replaced within the slider, and we could do the same with the other image. So let's just get the right one, this one. Oops, got the wrong image. There is a little bit touchy on picking up the images sometimes. Hopefully we've got the right one this time. There we go. So we'll pick another image. Let's have a boat, ship, whatever. Okay, we want the 1718. And that, keep it on. And now our slider images have now been replaced with two new images. So we'll just switch that off and refresh the page and see it how a visitor would see. And here we go. So we've got our new text in there, and we've got the new pictures on our slider. So that's the first three elements we've looked at. That's the login panel, the text slider, the text area, and the slider. So now we'll have a look at just normal images. It's a little bit slow here today because we've got so many things going on here. We'll just refresh that page. Looks like I was having difficulty finding that image. Okay, let's switch the editing on. Sorry, we've got a bit of a problem here. It's not picking up one of the images. Ah, here we go. Right. Okay, so to edit an image, again, is quite straightforward. Once you click the on button, the images that can be edited are highlighted. So you click the image and click edit. And this time, slightly different box comes up. Now you can either drag an image into the box, or you can use the browse. So we'll pick, oops, it's going crazy. Okay, so we'll pick an image. Let's pick our cross-eyed cat. Sorry if you're hearing the cat in the background, because one of our cats is not too happy about being in this evening. So the image is in. So now we can crop the image, and in order to prevent your clients sticking a huge image onto the page, the image is automatically cropped to exactly the same dimensions, or sorry, proportions as the original image that it's replacing. Of course, you can change the size of that, but it will always be in the same proportion as the original image. This makes sure that the image will always fit the space that they're replacing. So a quick crop image. And now the image has been replaced with the cropped image. And we could do the same with the others, but there's no point. So now you see how easy it is to replace an image. So now the next thing we'll have a look at is we'll look at the gallery later, the Lightbox image. Now, it's quite a unique feature we've done for this, because the image we want to retain as being exactly the same size to fit the hole, you know, where we're going to replace it. So there is your normal Lightbox picture. So when we edit the picture, again, we pick our image. So we'll pick the bird and the bee. This is quite a good example. Okay, so if we crop that to the same size as the original picture, and we'll just crop the bee. Okay, so now we've got the bee. Okay, so let's switch the editing off so we can look at the Lightbox. But when we click for the Lightbox, we get the whole image. So we can crop a section of the image and then have it open the whole image in the Lightbox. And I think that's quite a unique feature. Okay, so now we'll go on to a multi-area. This is initially set up as just a text area with perhaps a line of text in, and then you would go in and edit it. And you could edit almost a full page depending on how big your post maximum size and get maximum size are set in your PHP ini file, because it's obviously got to send all this data from one site to the other. So if you find that it doesn't work on some big areas, then you may need to increase your post max size or your get max size. So if we edit this area, as you can see, again, we can type in on the actual text, or we can edit the whole thing within the editor. And here we have the items here. So we could add into there another image, say, with image, upload, browse. Let's add Teresa, shall we? Send it to server. Okay, we'll align that to the left. Give her a little bit of space, and we'll give her a border. You could add a hyperlink to that if you wish as well. And you can also add your own style or style sheet classes. Okay, let's save that. So now you see our area has got, but that doesn't fit. Now the Web plus X8, which is what this one was done in, always sets the overflow to hidden. If you set the overflow to auto, then a scroll bar, the system will add a scroll bar automatically to the area. So what we'll do is we'll just edit a little bit out of this just to get so we can see her picture. Cool. And then we could add some more text there or anything.
Message for you, son.
So there we go. So now that's how the mixed areas work. And again, in the mixed areas, you've got a a lot of other options. You can insert a video within there, you can insert some flash, change all of obviously the formats of the font and so on. There's also a spell checker, which you can have spell check as you type. Obviously that's going to make everything spelled incorrectly because it's this Latin placeholder text. So we'll disable SCART for now, or you can just do a check spelling. Okay, so let's come out of that. Okay, so that's another area. Now we'll look at PDF documents. Now here I've added one already, and I've just added a placeholder on the other one so that your clients can add their own PDF documents to their site. And there's another quite unique feature here in as much that they don't have to create any image for the placeholder, because an image is created of the first page of the PDF automatically. Now we'll show you how that works. Okay, so we'll edit. He says. There we go. So we select our PDF document. So in this case, we're going to use, where is it? There we go, the client guide. Okay, we give it a title. Can't spell. And perhaps a footnote. Okay, and then we upload the PDF. Takes a few seconds. It depends on the size of the PDF, of course. Now you'll notice it's picked up the maximum file size here of 8 megabytes. This will be whatever's set by your host as the maximum upload. There's details of how you can change that, I think you find in the guide. And obviously you can set, that will then automatically pick up what your new PHP settings are. So it's just still uploading. It's a bit slow because of all the other things going on. So here we go. It's now created an image of the first page of the PDF. It's automatically created the links, and then we just click apply, and it's now been replaced within the document. So we'll turn the editing off. Now if a visitor comes along and clicks the PDF image, then they get the view of the PDF. If, however, they click the download link, then it goes straight into the download without displaying the PDF. It's going to do it with Download Manager, I think. Yeah. So we won't download it for now, but you see how that works. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so you can add as many of these placeholders on the page as you wish. So if they want to add their catalogs or updates on a regular basis, they can go in and change them at any time. Okay, so that's the PDFs. So now we'll go back to the panels, and first of all we'll look at the news panel. The news panel doesn't require the edit button because it will automatically detect if they're logged in and give an add edit button here. The news items will be displayed in the order, in reverse order, latest one first, with the exception of they now have a sticky button which they can apply to any post, and that will make it appear at the top of the list, and that will be shown with the pin at the top of the list. The image that is added, if they wish to add, can be clicked and it goes slightly larger for a few seconds, so the viewer can see the slightly larger picture of that. They can add a read more link, which will open whatever link they choose to set. And if there is no image, then the text will reformat to fit the whole area. And adding a news event is quite simple. They will go off to the control panel, and this is their customizable pages. So they add a title for their news. What date the news was, in this case it's today, so we'll leave it at that, and subtitle. Then they can add some more details there. Oh dear. The more link they can add if they wish. And here is where they can make it sticky, inactive, or active. If they make it inactive, then it will no longer display. Sticky keeps it at the top. Active means it will display. If they wish to add an image, let's find an image. I hate it when it does that. So we'll add an image. Let's add Teresa again. Okay, so now we've got the image, so we can add the news item. So now it's been added. So if we go back to the site, refresh the page, and there we have our new news item. That's pretty straightforward. So then we go to the events panel, and that works exactly the same way, with the difference is the latest event, the earliest event coming up is at the top, with the latest going down, and when an event's date and time have passed, then it's automatically removed from the list. And again, you get the edit button, and the difference here is that you've got the event time instead of a subtitle, and everything else exactly the same, and you can still make it sticky. So that's events. Then when we come to the shop panel, here we go. The images are on the left and slightly bigger, and then the products are listed. You have an add to cart button, postage and packing is listed if applicable, and the show cart. All of this is configurable. You can change the colors, the position of the cart, the postage and packing rates, and so on and so forth. If there is no image, then the whole thing shifts across automatically and fills the space. So we'll do a test transaction. So we'll add a dartboard to our cart. There we go. Now we'll view the cart. So here is our cart now. Product total, product amount, postage and packing, total order. We can change the quantity here if we suddenly decide we want to have 2 instead of 1. So we just refresh, and it's now 19.98 postage and packing, and so on. You can set a maximum postage and packing and a minimum postage and packing if you wish. So if their total postage and packing doesn't come up to the minimum, then it will automatically make it the minimum, or if it's over the maximum, then it will automatically reduce it to the maximum. And of course you can remove it from the basket as well. So now we'll check out. Everything is done automatically. There's very little configuration to do. Everything is picked up from your main control panel and your client's details. So let's add a name and address. About the United Kingdom. Stafford address, I think. We won't worry about a phone number. So now if the delivery address is the same, you just click the box and it's all filled in. Accept and continue to payment. Now this will be using my Sandbox account. You can set it to use Sandbox or Live account, and you only have to click one button to switch from one to the other. So for testing, it's very easy to switch. So now we're on my test shop of It's in the Bag. As you can see, it's filled in all the details, so dartboard and postage and packing. So we'll sign in with Fred Bloggs because he's got a lot of money. Okay, we're going to pay. Okay, payment's complete. There we go, and we're back to the site, and the order has been completed. You can obviously configure your own thank you pages to say whatever you wish, or sorry page if it's cancelled. Now we should have received an email confirming our order. Let's see if we can find it.
Message for you, sir.
So now we've received an email to say
message for you, sir.
Emails coming all of a sudden. Your order conference test is complete and be touched and so on, and all the order details listed below. And the customer's or your client's site will be in all the links and in all the text automatically. And then you get the client would get a confirmation of the order as well. An order was placed at, this is a copy, so on and so forth. So that's how the shop works. Now all of the panels, the news panel, the events panel and the shop panel, all have mobile equivalents. So you can add them to your mobile sites and they will automatically reformat for a mobile. And the shop will automatically use the PayPal mobile. Okay, so one thing left to do on the actual items on the site. So we've got the photo gallery. This is a new feature in the Pro Plus version only, and it's developed totally in PHP and CSS. There is no Flash or JavaScript or anything like that. It's just purely PHP and Flash. CSS. And because it's hosted on your control panel site, it doesn't need PHP on the client site to operate. So let's have a look at a sample. It's a very basic sample. And you can add descriptions, the date of the picture, there's thumbnails as well. And so on. It's a little bit slow loading here because of everything else that's going on with the conference and everything else. So let's just check we're logged in. Yeah, we're logged out now, so let's log in again. Okay, so let's go back to the gallery. Now, as we're logged in, we get a Manage Gallery link. And here we can change the title, the date that was posted. So let's say make it today. Let's put and update. And there we go. We've now got the edits in there. Now your client can add as many photos as they wish, and they get. In this case, we've added 4 categories to the gallery, so you can have different categories. If, say, for example, we wanted to add this one to landscapes as well, then while it's showing, we just press landscapes, update, and it's now a member of landscapes as well. So if we view just landscapes, we're now on landscapes, so we only see the landscape should do. Sorry, we've switched categories off on this particular demo. But under normal circumstances, you would have the categories listed and you can click landscapes and so on. Okay, you've also see that this particular Lightbox we've made with an invisible background, and also so that it's fixed and stays in the middle of the screen, even if the page behind it is scrolled, and the details of that are in the code when you add the code. Okay, so that's the gallery, and gallery again is completely configurable. So what we'll have to do now is we'll have a look at how we add these things to a site. So for example, let's have a look at our text area. The only thing you have to do on a text area is, first of all, you just view the HTML source, and you will see we've added class equals text over the add code on the main divider for that text area. So that's all that's needed on there, and we need an ID. And now in X8 you have to do that by going to edit properties and then ID, and as this is the first editable item we added to the page, it's editable 1 is its ID. If it was the second, it would be editable 2, editable 3, and so on. And that is it. That's all there is to setting up a text area to make it editable. The control panel goes on here, and we pick that up from the asset. I haven't got the asset open yet, so let's open the asset. Toggle, there we go. So to add it to a new page, so let's just insert a new page. Let's call it page 14, will do. Here we go. So we drag the asset over onto the page. This is our editing item, and we need to make some changes in this little box, in the little HTML fragment here. Now, if you want to add Google fonts to your page, let's just you'll see on here, we've added the Google font in here. Okay, it's just the standard way of adding a Google font. So if we go into here now, so we would add that into the head if you want your Google font, and where it says Google fonts here, you would add the name of that font in there. If there was 2, then you would add the second one with, I don't know what say there's one called Hero. So whoops, I missed a come back. So that would then pick up both of those Google fonts in the text editor. So as we've only got the one, we'll take that one back out again. Okay, so now the other bits that we need to set up in the main control box, we need to set the client ID. Now this is whatever ID you've given your client in your main control panel, how many editable areas there are on this particular page. So if we're only adding one, then that would be a 1. If then the host URL, this is the URL of your Impact CMS control panel, and note there's no www. Don't add the www, and no and add and do add a trailing slash on the end. Then the domain that your Impact CMS is hosted on, which is the same thing in effect, except without anything after the .co.uk or .com or whatever the case may be. If it's in a subfolder, you don't put the subfolder, just the domain only. And in this case, no trailing slash. There are details there beside it as well, and details in the guide. And then the client URL, again with no www, and then the location of their site. Then the next thing is the page name, which in this case is page 14. And then you can change a couple of other things. Whether to display the source code in the editor, yes or no. And if you want to change the language of the editor's prompts, that won't change obviously the language in the display, because that will be down to you to type that, but the spell checking as you type language, the editor language, and the normal spell checker language, you can change to any language you want. There's a list of languages in the back of the guide, and the codes that you need to use. So you could change it to French or German or whatever the case may be, to make it easier for your clients to change their pages. And that's it. So that's what's needed on the what's needed on the control box. When you add a text area that's going to be editable, or any other area, for example, let's just look at that. I suppose it's going to be white on white, isn't it? That's better. So you first of all, as I say, change the ID to editable 1, and view the source, and then change the add code here, class equals text. Then the class is used to determine which editor or which version of the editor is brought up for the editing. So that's that bit. You then need to add the status bar and the buttons to do the editing. So all you do is drag that onto the page. It will retain the first part of the ID. So on this one you do the ID, that's status, because it's referring to editable 1, then this will be status 1, and make sure the always is selected. Now on the save button you have to do it slightly differently. Edit button, ID, and make that save 1, check the always, and the edit 1, ID, F edit 1, again check the always. And that's it. That one is now already set up as an editable area. It's that simple. Okay, so let's just go back to our original. Close that from if we go to here, right, so an image is slightly different. To set up an image, again you go to the HTML source, and around the image will a normal image will show a preamble something or other and a postamble. You overtype the preamble and you put your ID and class in here. So you make it div ID editable 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, and class equals image. And then after the image, just put a minus div. Now you must make sure that the images are not using maps. So if you see when you view the HTML that the image has got use map and so on, then you need to go into the export properties for the image, and you need to exclude and apply, and that will then stop it from using a map. Okay, so that's what we do. And then as you'll see here, our second one, oops, I meant to go to HTML, is editable to image, and so on, and the same for each one. So, and then you just drag a status, save and edit for each image onto the page. And so, like for example, that one's status 1, this one status 2, so that one will refer to that image, that one will refer to that image, that one to that image, and that one to that image. It looks a little bit messy on the editing page, but obviously on the live page you don't see any of that, and you only see one of those when you're actually editing an image. And we've got our control on here again, and in this case you'll see the difference here is that we've got 4 editable areas. Okay, so the gallery is slightly different. Not gallery, where are we? The slider. If we look at the HTML for that, oops, wrong one. We're looking at. We've not got the gallery. Where's the gallery? Pick the gallery up, not the image. There we go. HTML. Okay, so now you can see in the main divider for the slider, we've added class equals WP underscore slider, and we've set the ID in here. He says, whoops. No, there's a close the studio. We've got just want the ID. Edit properties, sorry. There we go. And that's editable too on that page. And that's the only 2 things you need to do. Apart from one other thing is you need to drag the slider just so it's got that little gap beside the image and the edge of the slider. That's just so that there's somewhere for you to click into to edit. And that's how easy it is to set up the slider. That does vary from version to version of Web Plus. In X7 you will have to do a little bit more, but the details are in the guide as to what you need to do because of the way the different codes work in each version. The Lightbox is just set up like a normal Lightbox. So if we just look at the Lightbox, where are we? It's on the page, I think. Yeah. If we look at the HTML on that, that's a standard Lightbox. The only difference is we add a divider in front of the Lightbox. This is all the Lightbox code that would normally be created when you add a Lightbox. So you add over the preamble div ID and then editable LB1. Now that's the same as the editable one, because this is the ID for it is editable 1. That's for the actual slider, and this is for a divider around the slider. And now that sounds a bit confusing, but you'll find in everything's in the guide. Yeah. Also, because of the way WebPlus works, you can't add a class to the Lightbox because it's already added a class. And to add a second class, you need to be able to edit that and put space and then the second class, which you can't do because the code is protected. Now, there's three ways of doing that. The easiest way is the way I've done it here. If you click the Show Advanced Editable Areas here, and then add that little piece of code there to add the class to the Lightbox. And the class is called lboxy. So editable one, add the class lboxy. Then when WebPlus writes the code for the page, it will add that or when the page is loaded rather, that class will be added after the WP Lightbox. I hope that makes sense. I'm confusing myself a little bit. Okay, so now we come to adding the panels. The code is supplied for you within your control panel. Let me just load the control panel. I've got the link here somewhere. Okay, let's go to we need to log out because we're logged in as a client at the moment. So log out. Okay, log in as admin. Okay, so like with the news and events panel, if we go to edit the one we created for that test. Okay, so there's our control panel, our news panel. You can change, you can have it transparent background, whatever color background you want. You can change the colors of all the various items and the text, etc. And then once you've done it all, the other important thing here too is the client domain. You must enter the client domain there, otherwise the panel will not work. And it's done to protect the panels from being added to other people's sites. So that cannot be displayed unless it's on the right domain. So if we get the code to add to the page, and you get all the instructions on how to add it to your client's page. The code is generated for you and all the necessary parameters are added. As you can see, there's the customer account number and so on and so forth. So you just copy that code and you paste it into a HTML fragment 610 by 970, and that's it. It's as simple as that. And for a mobile, then you use the code at the bottom, and that's for a 320 pixel wide mobile. And that will automatically adjust the widths of everything and so it fits the mobile site. The same thing happens with the events panel and the shop panel. You get the same type of screen to edit, and also the new photo book galleries in the Pro Plus version. The editing is very similar. You get a sample preview, so you can choose a background, you can choose to have a background. This one is set up for a transparent background with no extras. So let's just change it now to one with the background. So let's have that one, and we'll have demo photo gallery still the same. We'll allow people to make comments. We'll show the EXIF data, and you can see it's all coming up in here now as it changes. the address to send the email comments to, sort order, filter transitions. Let's change that to a wobble. Show the RSS icon. An RSS is automatically created, an RSS feed, and show categories. Now we've got 3 categories already. If we wanted to add another one, we just simply add, let's call it new category, and now we have a new category added to the system. So we'll update all that. Okay, so now we can preview the gallery. So there will only be 3 options here at the moment: 480 pixel wide, and now you see you've got all the EXIF information for the picture, you've got the RSS feed, and you've got all the categories, including our new category. So that's a 480 pixel wide. Here's a 700 pixel wide, which is better when you've got all the extra features. So you've now got your categories, so you can view just Thailand pictures. And in fact, there's only one in Thailand. Holiday pictures, again, there's only one in. I think we've only got one picture on here at the moment, actually. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's only one picture in the psalm. Come on, back. Website, there we go. Okay. So you can preview your galleries. Okay, so that's about it for this session. I can get that. Let's just go back to just to let you know also about the client mobile app. The client mobile app allows your clients to edit some of the features or some of the areas on their sites, and it will allow them to edit text areas, images, Lightbox images, mini shop items, events, news items, photo book galleries. So they can do them direct from their smartphone. And now if we just cover what versions are currently available, we've got the original Impact CMS, Impact CMS Pro, Pro Plus, the Pro mobile app, Pro Plus mobile app, there's too many P's here, Pro Pack Pro and mobile app, and there's the prices for them there. Okay, so now let's have a look, see what questions we've got here. I've got a question here from Michael. The PDF upload is only in the Pro version. It's in the Pro and the Pro Plus versions, yeah? And there's one here from John. Photo book galleries. Anybody who's already got the Pro version of Impact CMS, we will do a special, I'll do a special upgrade offer free to the Pro Plus. So I hope that answers that one. Is there any other questions? No, there's no more questions been posted. If anybody's got any questions that they'd like to ask? Just clear these other ones. Okay. So if there's any further questions, I hope you found this useful. Just a couple of final points. The Pro Plus version is only ever going to be in X7 and 8. I'm not producing that one in X6. In fact, there's very few X6 versions in use at the moment anyway, so I don't think there'll be much more development on X6 versions of Impact. I think you probably saw in the mail I sent out to you that I am now doing some conversions to allow it to work with PHP 7 when it is released soon. And anybody who's got a version that isn't for PHP 7 will get a free upgrade to the one with PHP 7. So then, just to finish off, anybody who hasn't already got Impact Plus, there's a special offer for the webinar. There's £5 off the original Impact CMS using the coupon code WEBINARO. There's £10 off the Pro and the Pro Plus using coupon code WEBINARB and £12 off the Impact Press Pro and Pro Plus packs, which have got the mobile app included, using code WEBINARD. I see some more questions come in now. Michael, you should be able to find this on what do you call it, YouTube immediately it's finished. In fact, it should be there now already in recording as it goes. There's a link for that. So I've never used this before, so I don't know whether. I think you find down the bottom of your screen, you may find there's a links button. If you look there, there's a YouTube page link, and that's where you'll find the recording. If not, give me a shout and I'll send you the link. So we've done that one, haven't we? Did you update the manual for? I've done a lot of changes in the manual, and there's also some additional documents now. So yeah, the manual should now cover X8. If it doesn't, please let me know. We've got next question is, are you planning any updates to existing apps for PH7? When you say existing apps, I take it you mean other things other than Impact CMS, in which case the answer is obviously yes. I'm going to, over the next few months, be updating all of the things that I've produced so far up to PHP 7. So that includes things like the membership sites and so on and so forth. And anybody who's got them already, I will contact and offer them a free upgrade to the PHP 7 versions. And Peter's comment, thank you for that, Peter. I hope it's useful. I say this is the first time I've ever done anything like this, and the first time I've ever used Google, whatever it is called, Hangouts. So I apologize if it wasn't as slick and smooth as it should have been, but I hope it's been of use to some of you. And again, thank you, John, for your comments as well. If there's any other questions that come to mind after the webinar, of course, by all means, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. I'll do my best to answer them for you. And hopefully we'll have the second webinar within the next week or so. So we'll go into the management of the control panel and all the extra bits and pieces that you can do with that. So thank you for watching. Where did that come from? I've heard that somewhere. Thank you for watching. Yeah, I've seen it on a movie somewhere. Anyway, thank you very, very much for your time. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been useful, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. As I say, you'll be able to pick up the a replay of this on YouTube, which should be automatically recorded and should be saved there anytime now. So I'll say good evening to you now. It's good evening here, or well, it's good night here now, and good afternoon to you in England, and good afternoon to you in, I think there's somebody from the Netherlands, and there's good night to who stayed up very late, to those in Australia. So thank you very much for your time. Good night.